Hello, everyone. So in this video, I will talk about three variables that I think everyone is thinking about one way or another, or maybe will be impacted by, even not in the past, but soon in the upcoming future. No doubt, no surprise here. Interest rate. I think in the world that we live in Canada, the interest rate is going up, and I believe it will even go up even more in the upcoming days. In the US, the interest rate, I think I was reading one article in Wall Street Journal the other day that the rate at which the interest rate went up is very steep when you compare with the recent past when the interest rate went up. Why I'm talking about interest rate? I'm no economist, but I think as a normal human being, a normal person who is just trying to feed myself and my family, I think what I am scared of is the rate at which the inflation is out there. Like the inflation is so steep in Calgary, or maybe overall in Canada, and you guys can post your comment. Is the food prices are high, the energy prices are high, you name it, like everything that I actually touch or want to buy, it's much higher than what I used to maybe in the last year, maybe the year before. Obviously 5 years, if I compare with 5 years ago, it is significantly different. So one of the things that I want to share in this video is what you may want to do in order to help what the Federal Reserve in the US or in our country, the Bank of Canada is trying to do. It's trying to tame the inflation down. So I did a few things over the last week, and I started out with cutting back my any expenditure that I think I can live without. So I cut back on my memberships, like if you have Netflix, Prime, and things of that nature. So I already cut that off. I said, okay, I'm not going to spend money. That might save me a little bit of $2, but at the same time, it will also allow the inflation, hopefully, the demand for product will go down a little bit. So that's another aspect. Now, obviously, some people might not be able to live without some of the things. That's different. But I think the question that we should all ask, what can we cut in order to cool the economy down? We all have a part to play. The federal government is trying, in my humble opinion, or the Bank of Canada in that regard, I should say, is trying to increase the interest rate to make people feel a little bit pinched so that they stop spending. So I think if we can, let's stop spending where we can. So cut back on your subscriptions, cut back on the things that you, maybe I was eating out. If you are eating out a couple times a week, maybe don't eat for 2 weeks. Maybe let's move those things. Maybe if you were having a coffee or two a couple of times a week, like let's say I used to go out for a coffee maybe at least 3 or 4 times a week, maybe Tim Hortons. I really love their coffee, but I think what I have done in the recent past is that I'm only having a coffee or two as opposed to 4 times. I'm cutting it back to half, and my goal is to cut it back even further. So why I'm sharing this, and again, this is not against Tim Hortons, or this is not against Starbucks or anybody like that, or Netflix for that matter. I think what I'm trying to say here is that you have to look at your own lifestyle and decide where you can cut. And for example, if you don't want to drive, don't drive. If you can be at home and work from home, if you are able, then work from home. That will cool down the demand for energy as well. So anywhere you can cut your demand, I think we all need to do our part in order to cut our demand. Some things are absolutely given, you have to do it. So you might not be able to cut, so not everyone will be able to cut the same thing across. So we all can make a contribution to cut the demand side. Once the demand side we cut back, I think we will see the benefit over the next 6 to 12 months, maybe 18 months, maybe 24 months. So maybe a couple of years, we will see the demand side little as we cut back our consumerism. I think we will see inflation going down. But I don't personally think the interest rate will go down in the next 2 to 4 years. I think it is, we are in a long haul. I think many people thought as we approached COVID that, and as we are getting out of COVID, that this is the new reality. Many situations it is the new reality, but I think COVID, one of the things that I do feel that COVID kind of went away. I don't think anybody is thinking about COVID that much when I actually at least go out in any mall or anything like that. So point is, and the recovery, in my view, was too excessive. That everybody seemed to have lots of money, and then they started spending. The job market did really well. Canada, I think what I heard this morning is that 5.2% unemployment, and today is October 8. It's one of the historical lows, to be honest, in the recent past. If you look at Canada's unemployment rate as a nation. The other hand, US, I think, is in somewhere around 3.5-ish unemployment rate. Their job growth, they still added jobs. So Federal Reserves in the US and Bank of Canada in Canada seems to have their toolbox, the tool that they have, which is to increase the interest rate, and the tool that they have at the accelerated pace of interest rate hike is not necessarily making a significant difference when it comes to lowering the inflation. It's very critical. We do not want a loaf of bread for $100. So I think it's very critical that we, as citizens of this country, make a contribution and cut back some of our expenditure wherever we can, so that we can contribute towards reducing the demand side and then help with the process of cutting back inflation. So that's the video for today, and we'll see soon.